Welcome back to 15 with Fosca and to this very special edition of the podcast coming to you live from the 2025 Florence, Italy Extraordinary Speakers Conference. I got a chance to hear and chat with some truly extraordinary women. Here's my conversation with Lola Owolabi, transformational and leadership coach, author, global business management lecturer, MBA lecturer, and so much more. Take a listen. I know that our Q&A will give you an idea of the energy that was in the room while Lola was speaking about how she uses her lived experiences and journey to empower other women. As Lola says in her book of the same title, if she can, so can you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to 15 with Fosca, the podcast. Lola, welcome. I am delighted to be sitting here with you today, talking straight from the Extraordinary Speakers Conference in Florence. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, Lola, you're here today as one of the extraordinary speakers. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be talking about today?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. So as you said, my name is Lola Owolabi, and it's a pleasure and very delightful to be in Florence. And today I'm talking about what's stopping you, in the sense that it's from my lived experience. So I grew up in a single parent family. My dad died when I was very young. I was first of five. And from that experience, we went from being reasonably comfortable to my mom having to bring up five children, with a very limited wage because she didn't have a really great education.
Okay.
She wasn't a graduate or anything like that. She came to the UK in her 60s. She got a job as a typist. And so from that lived experience, I told myself that as a woman, I wouldn't want to be in that situation, left with five kids and, struggling. And so when life got a bit better for me and obviously for my siblings, I decided that I would use the experience that I've gone through to empower more women, to be up and doing, get educated, don't be too dependent on anybody.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Stand on your own 2 feet, sort of thing. So the journey is a lived experience journey, and it culminated in me starting a social enterprise, a non-profit, back in 2008 called Proud to Be Me. And Proud to Be Me, initially we started supporting young women, between the ages of about 13 to about 18, in 4 pillars. And those 4 pillars are entrepreneurship, employability, creativity, and leadership, because we felt that if there was one pillar that they were not interested in, at least they'll be interested in the others. And you and I know, especially now, young women especially are very interested in making money. The Gen Zs are very creative, they're very entrepreneurial. And so it's been a journey. We've taken Proud to Be Me from being a non-profit in the UK. We're now in Nigeria, we're now in Ghana, and we want to expand into East Africa. So that's one part.
That's wonderful, Lola.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's one part of the journey. And so another part of the journey is the book, If She Can, So Can You.
Yeah.
And that is also part of my life and part of my lived experience. All the things I went through, all the knockbacks in life, all the, not having any self-esteem when I was growing up because we went through a lot of poverty. And for those of you who have ever been through poverty, poverty is traumatic.
Yeah.
It's an extremely traumatic place to be. And so my book was just my journey that, listen, hey, if I can do it, if I've been there, if I've got these gifts and talents, that have resulted from my life experience, then you can do it. And so the journey of the book is all about, you can. If others can do it, you can do it. And it empowers you to get therapy if therapy is required. It empowers you to, network, because, you are as strong as your network. So it empowers you to do that. It empowers you to let go of the past, because if we're slaves of the past, then we're going to be prisoners in the future. So, the book is, chapters on my journey, but empowering others, because my journey also empowered me to become a coach. Yeah, so I'm a transformational and leadership coach. I currently am the coach in residence at a London university. My journey has been an amazing journey in the sense that I'm so privileged now to empower others through the medium of coaching. I'm also very involved in academia now. I teach coaching at the university. I also support MBA students in entrepreneurship and leadership. And then I run so many other organizations. I'm into travel. I take women away every single year. Last year, I took 39 women to Zanzibar and Mauritius. The year before, it was 80 to Dubai and then 46 to Singapore and Bangkok. So all of my life, I always say that, that my life is not about buying and selling, but my life is about empowering people. And my journey, everything I've gone through is all about taking those seeds, planting them, and ensuring that my life is a blessing to others. So that's where I am.
Well, Lola, it really sounds like it is. I mean, you're holding your book, and I really do want to talk more about it in a second, because already I was taken by the title, because I think as a woman, a lot of us do feel that, and so much of the time we can't get over whatever it is that we've internalized, and it is so crucial that we have these models, people like you, people who can show women the way. I like the fact that you have 4 pillars, and that and that you recognize also the diversity and the dynamic nature of not only this generation, but I would also hazard to say the historical moment. So you mentioned that you work at university, I believe it's University of Warwick, and you work, or am I wrong? I'm sorry.
No, York St. John.
York, sorry.
And I went to Warwick.
Okay, I knew I had seen it somewhere, but you're working directly with students, and I love this, and I love the fact that universities now have this vision of having a coach. I mean, that's fundamental. That must feel, I would think, very rewarding for you. I find that there's a lot of value in working with young people, with the next generation. So could you speak a little bit specifically to that? And since this conference is dedicated to empowering the next generation of female leaders, and you do that in so many ways through your book, through your work, through the MBA work you do, through the work with university students, tell me what we're doing here today. Why are you here today, Lola?
All right, so I met Amira on LinkedIn. And she reached out to me regarding the Ugandan project. But at that time, I couldn't go with her and support her because I was going to be in Zanzibar. So I didn't say to her, listen, anytime you're doing something else, I'll be happy to support. And, by God's grace, I am a woman of my word. And so when she reached out to me regarding, Italy, I said, I'll come. And back to your question about empowering the students, and coaching. You see, coaching is one of the only helping interventions or learning interventions that is not really telling you, it's about you directing your own life. And that's the beauty of coaching, because let me tell you, there's greatness in everyone. Everybody's got him. Everybody's great, but sometimes you just need somebody to I call it pushing out of you. And if I was to give my unique description of coaching, it would be to support you when you're stuck, when you need to stop something, when you need to start, or when you're struggling. But it's all about you. You are the center of the universe. You are the center, and when you think about therapy and counseling, it's dealing with the past, but coaching is all about the future. It's all about your goals. It's all about where are you now? Where do you want to go to? And your coach will only help you get from A to Z. And so I'm so privileged, to be a coach and to coach young people and to support them in the university. Because a lot of them, they're doing MBAs, they're doing MSCs in global healthcare, this and that and the other. But one of the key issues is sometimes they don't have the confidence, they don't believe in themselves enough, which is similar and parallel to a lot of women. We're great, I see all the women in there, but they're all struggling with one area of their lives or the other.
And that's where you come in.
Yes, of course.
And while you're speaking, and I am somebody who worked with young people for many years, I'm a firm believer in mentorship. I really believe that we all need people to help us, not only a community, but also somebody who really does help us see ourselves and move forward. When you look at this next generation of leaders now, what do you think is the greatest obstacle that especially young women all over the world are facing right now?
All right. This is a subject I could talk about all day.
Lola.
But I think one of the key areas is that there are a couple. One is lack of good role models. I think one of the issues that we have with a lot of young people now, the role models are celebrities that are really not, they'll never meet. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the reasons why I started Proud to Be Me, because teachers, parents can never give what they don't have. And sometimes you need some external support to do that.
Absolutely.
So I think one of the key issues, lack of role models, lack of reachable role models. Then again, a lot of these things that we do, because we work in schools too. So the curriculum also needs to empower things like soft skills.
Absolutely.
Because I say to people, I tell my students, I said, you could go to Oxford, you could go to Cambridge, you could go to Harvard. That doesn't mean you're going to get a job. If you don't have emotional intelligence, if you're not self-aware, if you don't know how to network, if you're not confident, you could go to the best school, but you could go to a school that's not so great. And because you're sharp, you know how to work a room, you can fake it till you make it. You might get a job before someone who went to Harvard gets a job.
That's right.
So that's another thing. And we need to empower young people now to be more realistic. The world is competitive. So when I'm talking to my students, I say, every single person in this class is your competitor. How are you going to distinguish yourself? How are you going to be extraordinary? Because look at the conference, extraordinary.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, nobody notices anybody who is Mr. and Mrs. Ordinary. You understand? So we need to empower our young people to be extraordinary. Like I encourage them, get an internship, volunteer. When they say, we need to get a job, when they come to the uni, they're allowed to do 20 hours and do their studies. Right. But I say to them, listen, intern, get some experience interning, volunteer, because at the end of the day, that sets you apart from someone who's not doing that. I, as an employer, I also say that, when I'm checking CVs, I don't want to just see you went to do a first degree and you've got a master's. Yeah. I want, where's all these personal development courses? Mm-hmm. Where's all those little things that you've done on the side? Because that's what makes somebody extraordinary compared to someone who hasn't done that. Yeah. So I think that, I don't know if that's answered that question.
Yeah, and it actually raises a bigger question for me, and if it's something that you feel like you want to talk about.
All right.
But did you have somebody who did that for you?
No, exactly, and this is why I do what I do.
Is this why? That's what I wanted to ask you.
That's one of the key reasons, because
you didn't have that.
Never.
But you did it yourself.
Yeah, I did. It was a fight and a struggle, and that's why I believe so much in coaching and mentoring. They say that Richard Branson, multi-billionaire, has got 10 mentors, or that's what he says.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what he says, and I say that if he's got 10, we need 100.
Exactly.
If a multi-billionaire has got 10 mentors, then we need 100 as a minimum.
Yeah.
That's what's required. Young people need support out there.
Absolutely.
And that's why I said there's a lack of role model. There's a lack of, if you talk about youth coaching, people don't want to coach young people because there's no money there. You understand? People don't really want to do that, but they're the ones who need the help. And, even down to the political stage, because they're going to be the ones leading tomorrow. Absolutely. How are we equipping them if we're not investing in them now as they're growing?
Yeah. Lola, I'm so happy that this is such a huge part of your work, because I'm a huge believer in this generation.
Yes, of course.
But I believe that they've been, that they do feel frustrated.
Yeah.
And by many, many things, including what you're talking about, which is just the general superficiality of the dominant popular culture, let's say. And so I do think it's even harder to find that whatever it is inside of all of us that does make us extraordinary, which is what you're doing. Yeah. And the fact that you focus on young people in such a critical moment in our history is not only very noble, but it's really necessary. So we're sort of coming to the end. We have about 2 minutes left, and I really would like to hear what you hope to say today, what message that you want the women and the people in attendance today to walk away feeling and thinking, Lola.
Okay. I think the key lesson for young people and for the women here is that even those women in there are accomplished, very, but they haven't arrived yet, because we don't arrive until it's all over. You understand, almost. So I think my message is keep going, become an expert in your field. I remember I went for, I don't know if you've ever heard of Brendan Bouchard. He's an American. He's a great coach. Yeah. Okay. I picked that from him. He said, become an expert in your field. And it goes back to what I said about being exceptional. So many of us I haven't arrived yet. there's still things I want to do, still qualifications I want to achieve, you know, and I would encourage everybody to keep going, you know, don't rest on your laurels, keep going until you reach 150% ultimate fulfillment, because I'm definitely not fulfilled, and there's still so many more things I still want to achieve, and I want to encourage every single woman to do that today.
I thank you for this. I thank you for looking at all of us as beings in constant evolution, because I think it's fundamental. I think that with community, with mentorship, with coaching, with leadership, I think your message is powerful and clear. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do next, Lola.
Thank you. I've got some qualifications I need to go and to do.
You know, I'm a firm believer that this
personal development is key.
It's fundamental. I think if we stop, it's dangerous. I really think that there's something very valuable in looking at our lives as sort of at ourselves as works in progress. So thank you for everything you're doing to shape this new generation.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and for listening to me. And thank you to your intern. Thank you.
Thanks, RJ.
And well done, RJ, for being an intern. It's wonderful.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in
because we take interns
fundamental.
in our company. So we have interns from University of Arizona and some other universities too.
Fundamental.
It's important.
We owe it to young people to teach them
a chance.
how to be in the world.
How
to be in the world. I can't wait to read your book.
Thank you so much.
Because, you know, we all need a little, I think we all need a little encouragement, even those of us who are, you know, further along in our journey.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, like me, I've achieved so much, but I haven't arrived.
No, I'm
still on the journey.
You need to keep going.
Yeah.
All right, Lola.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, RJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.